And Home Track Heroes back to you with Steve Mortland and Tom Glithero. Good to be with you. Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Models about to take the track for the first time in competition in 2020.
You bet. They did get one set qualifying at their first race, then got rained out. Tonight, 75 laps to start your season off.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. Before we start, though, I want to make sure and mention and thank Angel of the Winds Casino. And they are the official casino of Evergreen Speedway and now 100% smoke-free. Angel of the Winds Casino Resort, exit 210 off of I-5. All right, let's bring you the lineup for our 75-lap feature for the Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Models. And we use the term Pro Late Models, some subtle differences between the two, but once these guys get on the track, all of that's going to go away. These guys are really going to put on a show. In car number 9 will be driven by Cody Graham, Jeff Knight, and got to take a second. Jeff Knight, who has been where Tom is for the first 3 nights that we have done our Home Track Heroes. Really want to thank him for being a part of what we're doing here on CW11. Jeff will be starting in a brand new number 70 car. Dario Reddick in the car number 37, moving up from the Street Stock Series. Chad Fitzpatrick in the familiar orange number 12C. Tyson Lang, who is our point leader coming into tonight in car number 18. Greg Bennett, your fast qualifier in the 98. Daniel Moore, a former champion in the super late model division, is behind the wheel of his grocery outlet number 16 car. And the 7D car, and this is the kid we want to pay close attention to. I think he's really going to do well, and that is Dawson Cox.
Starting in row 5 on the inside, it's the 3 car of Wyatt Gardner. Outside of him will be the 12B of Michael Brooks. In row 6, it's Rob Dees in the 91 with Brian Cottrell, who's driven just about a little of everything here at the Speedway, in car number 35. In row 7, Dan Beecher, the ageless one, car number 74. And outside of him will be Robin Fawcett in the 62. And in the 8th and final row, it'll be Andrew Link. Right now, these cars all have to have spotters. The spotter has the best view in the racetrack.
Right.
They have a radio, a two-way radio that keeps them in contact with the driver. The driver has earbuds in his ear. He has a microphone in the front of his helmet and a push-to-talk button on the dashboard, on the steering wheel, of the car. That spotter is sort of like a parent, a psychiatrist, and everything else. But that spotter's job is to keep them out of wrecks, tell them what's going on, maybe build them up if they're down a little bit, or if the driver's starting to get too excited. You have to know your driver well. How do you accomplish what you want to accomplish? Sometimes you think the driver's being a little lazy. How do you, I call it, go to the whip and make them step up a little bit. But right now the lights are out on the pace car, and we shall see green next time by.
Yeah, Speedway Chevrolet has been behind the late model division here out at Evergreen Speedway for years and years, and couldn't think of a better way to start this race by having the Speedway Chevrolet Evergreen Speedway pace car out in front. All right, here we go. Cody Graham and Jeff Knight. Graham on the inside. Looks like Knight is going to be up on the outside, side by side, and the first competitive laps for the Pro Late Models here in for 2020 in Evergreen Speedway, and a nice start right off the bat by Dario Reddick in that 37 car. Really a good move to get down on the inside.
This field has 3 drivers that have really, really good experience. That'd be Greg Bennett, Jeff Knight, Daniel Moore. A couple of drivers that have some limited experience, but most of them don't have hardly any experience at all in this class and on these tires.
Yeah, and Dario Reddick is such a cool story. I remember we had Dario Reddick back on our North Sound Racing radio program after he got his very first Youth Hornet. In fact, he won the very first Youth Hornet main event out here at Evergreen Speedway about 5 years ago. And Chad Fitzpatrick in the 12 is another example. Starting off in the quarter midgets, going up to the Hornet division, going up to the Street Stock division, winning a championship there, Fitzpatrick did. And then we go up to in the Pro Late Models, as we see the 35 car of Brian Cottrell there, very slow in turn number 3. So that will bring out the first caution, and the field will get bunched back up. But some early action early on in this one. Really impressed with that start by the 37 of Redditch.
When we talked about the heat, these drivers wear a fire retardant uniform. They probably have underwear on. They have gloves on. They may wear a face mask. They've got a full face helmet, and air is
a premium.
Yes, it is.
All right, we'll get them lined up side by side one more time here, as we have got 5 in the books out of 75 for our Speedway Chevrolet Supermodels. Or Pro Late Models. And you had mentioned about the spotter, and Tom and I do a podcast called the North Sound Racing Podcast, oddly enough, But we have one of the greatest driver-spotter combinations on our show a couple weeks ago, and that was Gary Lewis and Chuck Pickens. And we specifically asked each one what they liked, what made them really good about the other. And Gary really brought up a good point about Chuck. Said, the best spotter I can... Oh, and look at that. The 9 car of Cody Graham really couldn't get out of the way. And, boy, we almost had a bad one right there, a good battle
it's
between
quite possible
Jeff Knight.
he just missed a shift.
That could be.
You know, they're coming up through the gears. They happen very quickly. They don't use a clutch. They just force it through, and he may have missed a shift there.
And our 2 young bucks, Dario Reddick and Tyson Lang. And Lang, we can go on and on about Tyson Lang, too. That young man is going to have a phenomenal future. Football is his passion, and that's the one he's going to focus on. But, boy, it's going to be cool to see him develop, especially in this class. Really did well last year, too, in the
You're right,
late
and
models.
comes from good blood.
Yes, he does.
Mom could drive just about anything, did a great job in the street stock division, and Dad has won numerous championships, both in the street stock division and the super late division here at Evergreen Speedway.
And Grandpa thinks he does pretty good, too, so there's always that.
Grandpa is Ron Fritzley.
Yes.
Ron's run a number of race cars throughout the Pacific Northwest. Very, very proud of his grandson, and they're going to do some good things with him.
Oh, no, there goes Dan Beecher. And there goes the number 62 car.
Robin Fawcett.
Robin Fawcett,
That's
as
kind
those
of like
two got
a
together.
Richard Petty looking car.
It
huh?
is. I like the scheme on that one. But, we could, let's talk about Dan Beecher for just a second, too. Kind of cut his teeth running Friday nights with the Western Washington Racing Association more years ago than he probably cared to admit to. His son, Nick, is going to be racing later on here on Home Track Heroes behind the wheel of the number 45 in the Northwest Motorsport Street Stock Division. But really a nice guy. Nick takes care of all the setup on the car. Dan says, man, all I do is just show up and drive. Nick makes all the decisions, and Dan has been a while since he's been behind the wheel, but he's going to join the back of the field and just out here to have a good time and hang out with Nick. So not a bad deal.
Right now, the spotters are telling their drivers, lights are off on the pace car. You're going to get green next time by. Then they'll be saying, okay, pace car is off the racetrack, green, be ready to go. And as they come off of turn 4, they're going to at some point be yelling, green, 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 go, go, go. And here we go.
And you can hear it right now. 16 of them telling them green, 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 and they are off. And boy, do they look good coming underneath that camera. Daniel Moore, really good to see him in the Pro Late Model division here in 2020 at Evergreen Speedway. And another great, just family involvement all the way around. His mom and dad, there's no place they would rather be than with watching Daniel race. Couple of veterans right there. Jeff Knight down on the inside. Greg Bennett.
They've been doing this a long time.
Have.
Greg Bennett, back to the old NASCAR Northwest Tour days, a top runner there. And it's cool to see him back. I think he's got a new car for him.
He does.
And, the 2 veterans of this field side by side. And now you've stuck Daniel Bud Moore in
yeah.
there. There's all the experience in this whole field right there. The 70 of Knight, the 16 of Daniel Moore, and the 98 of Greg Bennett.
Yeah, Greg Bennett brought to you by Bennett Design and Construction. Jeff Knight, obviously by the Rock Church right here in Monroe. And KLB Construction has been on the hood of his car for a lot of years, too. So really good to have these guys back out here. It's a good battle, side by side. Moore down on the inside, Jeff Knight up on the outside with Greg Bennett sneaking the nose of the 98 in there. See how this all shakes out as we are working lap number 15 out of 75.
Right now, well, we have a spin right there in front of us. It's the number 91 car.
91 of Rob Dees, and we are going to go take a break. We'll be back from Evergreen Speedway right after this on Home Track Heroes.